Welcome to Module 6 of Multi-Agent Architect. You hardened a system in Module 5. 3 agents, state contracts, verification gates, recovery logic. The thing actually runs end-to-end on your machine. That's a real accomplishment, and it's exactly half the job. The other half is shipping it to someone else's machine. Working on your machine isn't the same as working on someone else's. Your machine has cache state, environment variables, install dependencies, paths only you have. None of that ships in your zip file. The first user who downloads your plugin hits all those gaps at once. In this module, we cover the 5 disciplines that turn a working system into a real product. Manifest, the plugin.json that loads cleanly anywhere. Bundle, the folder layout that explains itself. Test, clean environment validation that catches the silly mistakes. Publish, Gumroad sales page, paid or email gated. Support, versioning, updates, customer channels. By the end of this hour, you'll have a published plugin URL. Real customer-facing thing on the public internet. That's the bar. Let's go. Quick check. Card 1. You shipped Module 5. The hardened 3-agent system with state contracts, verification gates, and recovery logic. If you didn't finish Module 5, loop back. Module 6 packages a specific system, and you need that specific system to package. Card 2. You want users. Not just yourself running the system in dev. People who don't know how it works inside, just that it solves a problem they have. Card 3. You want revenue, or at least leads. The plugin will be either a paid product or a lead magnet. If you don't want either, this module's overhead doesn't pay back. If you have a system someone could conceivably pay for, you're in the right room. The shipping discipline is the same whether the price is $0 or $499. 3 deliverables. Manifest, a complete plugin.json that loads cleanly on any machine. The required fields, the recommended fields, the Sember discipline. No more works on my machine surprises. Distributable bundle. Folder layout, README, scripts, all organized so a stranger can install and use it. The bundle is what you actually upload or what your buyer downloads. Live product page. A Gumroad listing. Paid product or email-gated lead magnet. Pricing decided. License decided. Deliverable decided. Real users. Real URL. Or it didn't ship. 5 steps. 1 lesson each. Step 1. Manifest, the plugin.json that loads everywhere. 3 required fields, several recommended ones, Sember discipline. Step 2. Bundle, the folder layout that explains itself. Standard subdirectories so the runtime knows where to look without guessing. Step 3. Test, clean environment, fresh user. The discipline that catches the silly mistakes you can't see from inside your own machine. Step 4. Publish, Gumroad page, paid or email gated. Pricing, license, deliverable, sales copy. Step 5. Support, versioning, update communication, support channels, timeboxing. The workflow that keeps the plugin alive without consuming your week. 5 steps. Each one earns its keep when the first user touches your work. Skip any one, and the user feels it.
Part 1.
Plugin.json, the metadata that decides whether your plugin loads at all. The plugin.json file has 3 required fields. Get any one wrong, and the install fails.
Name.
Kebab case. Globally unique across the plugin ecosystem you're publishing to. The name shows up in error messages, in command line invocations, in the storefront URL. Pick something descriptive, but tight. Multi-agent reviewer is good. My cool thing is not. Version. Follows Sember. Starts at 1.0.0 for first public release. Don't ship at 0.x. That signals beta and depresses sales. Don't ship at 2.0.0 either. You skipped the work that earns a 2.
This
recommended fields. Technically optional. Always include them. Author, name and email. Identifies who shipped it. Users contact you here for serious issues. Repository. HTTPS URL to your source code. Open source if you want, private if not. Either way, the URL signals professionalism.
Homepage.
Your Gumroad URL or marketing site. The storefront is your first sales surface. This is your second. License. Spell it out. MIT, proprietary, or a custom license name. The keyword goes here. The full text goes in a separate license file.
Keywords.
3 to 5 terms users might search for. Powers discovery in the storefront. Skip these and your plugin looks unmaintained and amateur. Include them and you signal this is a real product. Cost is 5 minutes of typing. Benefit is months of credibility. Semver in practice. 3 numbers. 3 precise meanings. Major bump. Breaking change. Existing users must migrate. The 1.x to 2.0 transition. Renaming a / command, changing a return shape, removing a feature, all major bumps. Customers see the major bump and know to plan for migration. Minor bump. New feature, backward compatible. The 1.0 to 1.1 transition. Adding a new specialist agent, adding optional fields, adding new commands. Old workflows still work. New capabilities are available. Patch bump. Bug fix or doc fix. The 1.0.0 to 1.0.1 transition. Behavior unchanged. The customer's existing usage doesn't even need to know a release happened. The discipline is bumping deliberately every time. Customers rely on the bump signal. Get it wrong, call a breaking change a minor, and you'll spend support hours explaining surprise breakage that wasn't supposed to be possible. Get it right, and customers self-serve their migrations. How does the runtime find your plugin's components? 2 options.
Auto-discovery.
Drop a file in a standard folder. The runtime finds it by convention. Your hooks live in hook /, your skills in skills /, your commands in command /. Less to maintain in the manifest, but you give up control over load order or selective loading. Explicit declaration. List every component in plugin.json under a components field. The runtime loads only what's listed. More control, more maintenance. Useful when you have legacy components you want to keep on disk but not load. Default to auto-discovery. It's less typing, less to keep in sync. 5 common manifest mistakes. Each one fails the install, sometimes loudly, sometimes silently.
1.
Trailing comma in the JSON. Some loaders parse it, some reject it. The ones that reject it produce a generic error like invalid manifest with no clue about the comma.
2.
Name with uppercase or spaces. Kebab case only. Every other format breaks something. File system case insensitivity, URL slugs, command line invocation, take your pick. 3. Missing version field. Strict loaders reject. Lenient ones default to 0.0.0 and look unmaintained. Live build. The complete plugin.json for the multi-agent reviewer system from Module 5. Name. Multi-agent reviewer. Version. 1.0.0. Description. A tight sentence about parallel code review. Author. Name and email. Repository. HTTPS URL to source. Homepage. The Gumroad listing. License. Proprietary. Keywords. 3 search terms. 9 lines. Every field intentional. This is what cleanly installs everywhere and looks professional in the storefront. Notice what's not there. No components field. Auto-discovery handles that. No engines field. Let the runtime negotiate compatibility. No bin field. / commands are the entry points, not standalone executables. The discipline is including everything that earns its keep and nothing that doesn't.
Copy this template.
Adapt it for your own plugin. Replace the name, repo, and homepage. Keep the structure. You'll save yourself an afternoon of what fields do I need?
Part 2.
Bundling. The folder layout that makes your plugin install correctly and look professional. Standard plugin directory layout. The convention everyone follows. Top-level files. Plugin.json, the manifest. readme.md, what the plugin does and how to install it. License, the legal text. 5 subfolders. Agents, sub-agent markdown files, 1 per agent. Skills, skill folders, each with its own skilled, MD plus references and scripts. Hooks, shell scripts, organized by event. Commands, /command markdown files, 1 per command. Scripts, bundled executables your skills or hooks call. Optional. Docs, deeper guides users read once they've installed. Examples, runnable demos showing the system in action. The runtime knows this convention. Auto-discovery walks the folders and loads what it finds. Drop a file in agent / and it shows up in the agent list automatically. The convention is the API. Don't fight the convention. If you put commands in a folder called actions, you'll spend more time explaining than the convention saved you. Naming for cross-primitive references. Names are contracts with users. Agents reference each other by name. The orchestrator's prompt mentions at security auditor. The /command body mentions the same agent. Change the name, and every reference breaks. Skills triggered by phrase. The user types package my plugin and the right skill activates. Change the trigger phrase, and existing user workflows break. Hooks named by event. Use descriptive names, pre-tool use block bash, not hook 1. The name is the documentation. Nobody opens hook 1 looking for what it does. /commands map 1-to-1 with file names. Review.md becomes /review. mar-reviewed, md becomes /marreview. Renaming the file renames the command. Document every cross-primitive reference in the README. If your /command calls at security auditor, the README mentions both. When you eventually change one, you can find every reference. Names are contracts. Don't change them on a whim. Change them through a major version bump with a migration note. Name collisions with installed plugins. The risk you don't see until 2 plugins both define /review. What happens? 2 plugins both expose /review. Last installed wins. The user can't predict which version they get. They install the second plugin to add a feature. Suddenly the first plugin's /review doesn't work anymore.
They don't know why.
They write a frustrated review. Prevention. Prefix /commands and agent names with your plugin scope. /marreview instead of /review for the multi-agent reviewer plugin. Specificity is the cure. Generic names compete. Scoped names coexist. Process. README structure. 6 sections. In order. 1-line description. Same as plugin, JSON's description, repeated for context. The first thing the reader sees. If it doesn't grab them, they leave. Why use it? 3 bullets in plain language. Not features, outcomes. Catches security bugs your linter misses, beats multi-agent architecture with parallel dispatch. Install. Exact commands the user copies and pastes. Include the install command, the verification command, and the first happy path invocation. No prose between commands. Let them flow. Quick start. Minimum viable invocation, end-to-end. The smallest example that demonstrates the value. If Quick Start needs more than 5 lines of setup, your plugin is too complex for first impressions. Components. What agents, skills, hooks, and commands ship. 1 line each. Lets the user understand what they got and what to invoke next. Limitations. Be specific about what it doesn't do. Doesn't handle SQL injection patterns yet, is honest, and prevents bad reviews. Hiding limitations is how trust dies. README is the sales page for technical users. The first 30 seconds of reading decides whether they install. Treat it like a sales page. Iterate it like a sales page. Bundled assets. Everything that's not a primitive, but ships with the plugin. Scripts. Executables your skills or hooks call. Build scripts, verifiers, format runners. Keep them in script / with descriptive names. Verify _ manifest, py, build _ archive, sh. Templates. Files users scaffold from. README templates, config templates, agent templates that the user fills in for their specific use case. References. Deep documentation that skills load on demand via progressive disclosure. The pattern from Module 3, light skill.md, deep references folder. Examples. Runnable demos showing the system in action. End-to-end transcripts. Sample inputs paired with expected outputs. Examples are documentation that doubles as test fixtures. Keep paths relative. Never hardcode absolute paths from your machine. /users/jane/projects breaks the moment your plugin runs on someone else's home directory. If it's not in the bundle, it doesn't ship. Test by fresh cloning the repo into a new directory and verifying everything still works. The clean clone test catches missing files almost every time. Live bundle. Module 5's hardened 3-agent reviewer, packaged as a complete plugin folder. Top level. Plugin.json readme.md. License. The 3 files anyone sees first. Agents folder. For files, planner, security auditor, perf reviewer, test runner. Each a subagent markdown file with its own front matter and system prompt. Skills folder. 2 skills, style guide for code conventions, package and publish for the meta task of shipping. Each skill is a folder with its own skilled, MD plus references and scripts. Hooks folder. The auto format post tool use hook. Other hooks could go here as the plugin grows. Commands folder. 2/commands, review and debug. Each a markdown file that dispatches the appropriate agents. Scripts folder. The verifier and the build script. The whole Module 5 system fits in one folder. 3 agents become 4 files. The skills and hooks and commands all sit in their conventional places. The runtime auto-discovers everything. The user gets a working multi-agent system from a single zip download. That's the goal. Part 3. Clean environment testing. The discipline that separates plugins that get installed from plugins that get refunded. Why clean environment testing matters. The brutal truth. Your machine has cache state, environment variables, install dependencies, specific paths, none of which ship in your zip file. The plugin works because of all the latent infrastructure on your machine, infrastructure you're not even aware of. 3 failure modes hit the first user. First time install fails on missing dependencies you forgot were installed. You typed npm install 10 years ago for a different project and the dependency is still there. The user gets a cryptic error and no idea what's missing. First time invocation fails because it relies on a path only you have. You hard-coded /users/jane/dev somewhere. The user has /users/bob/code. The agent dies trying to read a non-existent file. Onboarding takes hours instead of seconds. The user spends their first hour debugging your plugin instead of using it. They never get to the value. They write a 1-star review or just silently leave. Testing in a clean environment is the cheapest insurance you'll buy. 45 minutes upfront prevents months of doesn't work reviews. 3 ways to get a clean environment.
Pick 1.
Fresh user account, macOS or Linux. Create a new user, sudo user add test user, log in as them, install the plugin, run it. New user means new home directory, no cache state, no installed dependencies. The closest approximation of first user experience without a separate machine. Docker container. Docker run it. RM a fresh Ubuntu or Alpine image. Mount only your plugin folder. No host pollution. The cleanest test environment available and reproducible. The Docker image you test against is the same one you can offer customers as a reference setup. The clean environment test checklist. 5 lines. Every release. Install. Single command.
No surprises.
Exits cleanly. If the install command requires the user to read a paragraph of prerequisites first, you've already lost half your audience. Discover. / commands appear in tab completion. Agents are listed when the user runs the agent list command. Skills are triggerable by their phrases. The plugin shows up wherever the runtime exposes it. Trigger. Happy path runs end-to-end. The user invokes the / command from your README's quick start, and it produces the documented output.
No exceptions, no warnings, no mysterious silence.
Verify. Sanity check that the result is right, not just complete. The output looks right. The expected behavior actually happened. Just because the command exited 0 doesn't mean it did the right thing. Uninstall. Single command. Leaves no junk on the system. Users who try and decide it's not for them should be able to leave cleanly. 5 lines. Run them every release. They catch the silly mistakes that destroy first impressions. The onboarding test. The hardest test and the one that matters most. The target. From 0 to first useful invocation in under 5 minutes, without asking the author for help. That's the bar. Most plugins fail it on the first try. How to run it. Hand a README and the plugin folder to a developer who's never seen it. Sit nearby. Time them. Watch them. Note where they get stuck. Crucially, don't help. Let them flounder, because their flounder points are your bug list. What to look for. Where do they pause? Where do they reread a section? Where do they switch to another tab to look something up? Where do they ask, what does this mean? Each of those is friction your docs or bundles should have removed. How to fix. Iterate the README, the install command, the quick start. Retest with a different developer. Repeat until the 5-minute target hits consistently. If the only person who can use your plugin is you have a project, not a product. The onboarding test is what reveals the difference.
Docs as tests.
The README is part of the test surface, not a separate concern. Every command in the README must be runnable verbatim. If the README says run npm install, running npm install must work. Not almost work, work. Test it on every release. Every example must produce the documented output. If the README shows a sample run with a sample output, your test should run that sample and assert the output matches. When the output drifts, the assertion catches it before the user does. Every link must resolve. Internal links to other doc sections, external links to references, both. Dead links are an instant credibility hit, and they accumulate over time without anyone noticing. Test the README on every release the same way you test code. Add it to your CI. Make it a gate. If a doc is wrong, an install fails and the user blames you, not the doc. Docs are code. Test them like code. The discipline costs minutes per release. The alternative costs trust per support ticket. The pre-publish rubric.
6 checks.
Run all 6. Don't ship with any red.
1.
Install passes. All deps resolve. Single command.
No prompts. 2.
Discovery works. / commands tab complete. Agents autoload. Skills triggerable. 3. Trigger fires. Happy path produces the README's promised output.
4.
Verify passes. Output is correct, not just present.
5.
5-minute onboarding. A stranger lands on the README and gets to a useful run in under 5 minutes. 6. Docs match reality. Every command in the docs runs. Every example produces the documented output. Every link resolves. 6 checks. All 6 green equals ready to ship. Anything red equals not yet. Fix the red first. This rubric is the gate between I built something and people can use what I built. Print it. Tape it next to the Module 5 failure mode summary on your monitor. Run it before every release, every time. Part 4. Publishing to Gumroad. Product page elements. 6 things every Gumroad listing needs. Title. Same as your plugin name, kebab case turned to title case. Multi-agent reviewer. Don't get cute with marketing names. The title should match what the user expects.
Tagline.
One-sentence promise. What the buyer gets. Catch security bugs your linter misses with 3 parallel reviewers in one/command. Cover image. Branded. High contrast. Mentions the word plugin so buyers immediately understand what they're buying. 1280 by 720 minimum. Readable at thumbnail size.
Description.
Paragraph form first. What it does, who it's for, why it works. Then bullets of features. Buyers skim the bullets. Readers read the paragraph. Demo or screenshot. Show the system actually running. A short video of the /command in action, or a screenshot of the structured output. Demos sell, what features can't.
Price tag.
Clear, single number. No quote-to-buy gymnastics. If the buyer needs to email you to find out what it costs, half of them won't bother. The Gumroad page is your sales rep when you're not in the room. Every section earns its slot. Cut anything that doesn't help the buyer decide. 3 deliverable formats. Each has trade-offs. Zip file. Simplest. The buyer downloads the zip, unzips it, drops the folder in their plugins directory. No GitHub access needed. Updates are manual. The buyer has to come back to Gumroad to download new versions. Best for first launches and self-contained, infrequently updated plugins. GitHub access link. The buyer's email gets added as a collaborator on a private repository. Updates flow automatically. They pull the latest from GitHub. Power users prefer this because it integrates with their dev workflow. Requires you to maintain a private repo and manage collaborators. Hosted install URL. The buyer runs an install command that pulls from your own URL. Most polished experience. Updates are seamless. They rerun the install command and get the latest. Requires you to host infrastructure and care about uptime. Default to zip for first launch. The simplicity matches the early stage. Move to GitHub access once you have ongoing updates and a customer base big enough that come download version 1.1 gets old. Hosted install is for when you've matured into infrastructure ownership, usually after the first 100 customers. License terms. Pick the right one before you launch. Single user license. One buyer, one machine, one human. Simplest enforcement, you're not really enforcing it, but the legal terms are clear. Common for individual developer tools at sub-$50 price points. Team license. N seats per organization. Common for B2B sales. Set a tier, 5 seats, 10 seats, 25 seats, and charge per tier. Requires you to track buyer organizations, but doubles or triples your effective price. Open source with paid support. The code itself is MIT or Apache. The support tier is paid. Buyers download the code free. Pay for priority issue response, video calls, custom feature requests. Common pattern for developer tools that want broad adoption plus a revenue stream. 3 rules apply to all 3. Spell out commercial use rights. Can the buyer use the plugin in their commercial product? Spell out redistribution. Can they share the plugin with their team or others? Spell out modification. Can they fork and customize? Don't write your own license from scratch. Start with a template. Plain English commercial license is a good base. Lawyers can review later if revenue justifies it. Pick before you launch. Changing license terms after sale is messy and erodes trust. Pricing patterns. 3 options. One-time pricing. $29 to $499. Buy once, use forever. Simplest pattern. Default for plugins, especially first ones. The buyer's mental model is, I bought a tool. They don't expect ongoing payments. You don't have to manage subscriptions or churn. Subscription pricing. $5 to $49 per month. Recurring revenue. Justifies ongoing updates because you're getting paid for them. More overhead to manage. Payment failures, churn, cancellations. Only viable if you're committed to monthly meaningful updates. Don't charge for nothing. Tiered pricing. Free, $99, $499. Free tier is your funnel. Paid tier covers most users. Premium tier is for companies that want priority support or extra features. Tiered is powerful when you have a clear product split. The free tier shouldn't be a crippled version. It should be a genuinely useful subset. Default to one time for your first plugin. Simplest, lowest support load, lowest customer expectations. Move to subscription only when you're committed to monthly updates. Reach for tiered when you have a clear free funnel that pays back through paid conversion. Email gated free as lead magnet. The pattern that builds an audience. Set the price to $0 on Gumroad and require email at checkout. The buyer enters their email. In return, they get the download. Simple.
Standard.
Gumroad supports it natively. What you get. Every free download adds the buyer's email to your list. Now you have a marketing channel. Every plugin is also a future product launch announcement. The list is the asset. What you pay. 0 upfront. The buyer's email cost is essentially nothing. Gumroad handles delivery. The cost is your time to maintain the list and write occasional emails. Use Gumroad's Name Your Price option to let buyers tip. Many will pay something $5, $10, even when 0 is allowed. The ones who tip self-select as your most engaged customers. Lower stakes plugins work great as lead magnets. A small skill. A single agent. Not the hardened multi-agent system. That's the paid tier. The lead magnet's job is funnel. The paid product's job is revenue. Free plugins build the audience that buys the next paid one. Plan the sequence. Live walkthrough. 6 steps. 10 minutes from upload to live URL.
Step 1.
Create product on Gumroad. Pick digital good. Upload your zip file plus the cover image. Both files in your local downloads folder, both ready to go. Step 2.
Title plus tagline plus description.
Paste from your README's intro section. The title goes in the title field, the tagline in the subtitle, the description in the body. 5 minutes of editing for clarity. Step 3. Set price. 1 number. Or 0 with email gate enabled. Either works. Step 4. Set license terms in the description. 1 paragraph. This plugin is licensed for single-user commercial use. Redistribution prohibited. Modifications permitted for internal use only. Step 5. Test purchase yourself with a different email. Buy your own product. Walk through checkout. Receive the download. Open it. Verify it works. The number of plugin launches that ship without a working checkout is alarming. Step 6.
Publish.
Share the URL. Watch the first download arrive. 10 minutes from upload to live URL. The URL is the discipline. Until the listing is public, it isn't shipped. You're still fiddling. Pre-launch checklist.
7 checks.
All 7 green equals ready to launch.
1.
All 6 rubric checks from slide 25 are green.
2.
Plugin tested in clean environment, fresh user, 3 operating systems if your plugin is cross-platform.
3.
README, license, and plugin.json are all consistent on name, version, and author. The mismatch is a credibility killer. People notice.
4.
Cover image rendered at 1280 by 720, branded, readable at thumbnail size. The thumbnail is what shows up everywhere. The full image is rarely seen.
5.
Test purchase completed end-to-end with a different email account. You bought your own product, downloaded it, ran it. No surprises in checkout. No surprises in download. 6. Announcement copy drafted for X, LinkedIn, and your existing email list. You'll want to post within hours of launching. Have the copy ready.
7.
Pricing, license, and support channel all decided and announced. The buyer should know what they're paying, what they're allowed to do, and where to ask questions before they click buy. Don't launch until all 7 are green. Each red item is a future support ticket waiting to happen. Last section. Semver in practice. Concrete examples. 1.00 to 2.00. You renamed a / command. Existing user scripts that call /review now break because it's /marreview. That's a major bump. The break is real and existing users must update. 1.00 to 1.10. You added a new specialist agent. Old workflows still call the old agents and still work. New workflows can use the new agent. Backward compatible. Minor bump. 1.00 to 1.01. You fixed a typo in the description. Behavior unchanged. The user's existing usage doesn't even know a release happened. Patch bump. 1.00 to 1.10. You improved the verifier's checks. It's now stricter, but old contracts still pass because they were always correct. New strictness catches more bugs without breaking anything that worked. Minor bump. The discipline is picking the bump deliberately every time. Customers trust the signal. Get it wrong consistently, and the signal stops being useful. Get it right, and customers self-serve their migrations without bothering you. The patch path is for fixes that change nothing. The minor path is for additions that break nothing. The major path is for everything else. Update communication. The cheapest customer retention you'll buy.
Changelog. Short.
Dated. Organized by major, minor, and patch sections. Every release adds a section. Customers reference the changelog when they update. If it's incomplete, they don't trust your other commitments either. Release notes. Paragraph form. A bit longer than the changelog. What changed and why? What's broken, if anything is? Read by humans, not parsers. Write for the engineer, who'll spend 3 minutes deciding whether to update. Email blast to existing customers. Every minor release. Every major release. Skip patches unless they fix a security issue. The customer expects emails when something meaningful happens. Social posts. Major releases only. One screenshot showing the new feature. The audience there isn't your existing customers. It's potential ones who'll see the activity and be reminded the product is alive. Don't ship more than one major release per quarter without warning. Major releases are migration work for customers. Respect their time. Communication is the cheapest customer retention you'll buy. Silence is the cheapest customer churn. 3 support channels.
Pick one.
Run it consistently. GitHub issues. Async, public, indexable. Free to run. Scales with users because answers are searchable. Public can be a feature. Other users solve each other's problems or attacks. Your bugs are visible to potential customers. Best for technical, bug-focused support.
Discord.
Real-time, community feel. High value for engaged users. They help each other. High overhead for you because Discord rewards constant presence. Easy to overcommit. Hard to ignore. Best for plugins with passionate user bases willing to participate. Email. Private, slow, bilateral. Lowest overhead. Autoresponder plus FAQ link handles most of it. Doesn't scale past about 50 active users. Beyond that, email becomes its own full-time job. Best for low-volume B2B plugins or first launches before community forms.
Pick one.
Don't open 3 channels and try to staff them all. You'll do all 3 badly. Pick the one that matches your plugin's user base and your willingness to commit attention. Run it consistently for at least 3 months before judging whether it's working. Timeboxing support. The discipline that protects your build time. Set support hours and announce them publicly. I respond Tuesday and Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m.
Stick to it.
Customers can plan around predictability. They can't plan around your availability bouncing between 2 a.m. and noon. Triage daily. Respond batched. 5 minutes in the morning to flag everything by priority. 2-hour block twice a week to actually respond. Don't context switch on every notification. Every interruption costs more than the response itself. Auto-respond with FAQ link. Most questions are repeats of 3 or 4 common ones. Quick recap. 5 capabilities you have now. You can author a complete plugin, JSON with all required and recommended fields. You can bundle agents, skills, hooks, and commands into the standard layout. You can test in a clean environment to a 6-item rubric. You can publish to Gumroad with appropriate pricing and license. You can sustain updates and support without burning out. The assignment for Module 6. Publish your Module 5 system as a plugin on Gumroad. Paid product or email-gated free, your choice. All 6 rubric checks green before you publish. Submit the live Gumroad URL. The URL is the discipline. Until your plugin is public on the internet with a price tag or an email gate, it isn't shipped, it's still a prototype. The discipline of going public is what forces every other piece to actually be done. Most students get to this assignment and want to add one more feature, polish one more rough edge, write one more doc section.
Don't. Ship the version you have.
The next version will benefit from real customer feedback that you can't get any other way. Up next, Module 7. The Capstone. Ship a public multi-agent system with iteration. 4 topics. Project selection. 3 filters, real demand, multi-agent fit, shippable in 7 days. The discipline of saying no to the wrong project before you commit a week to it. 7-day build sprint. Spec, build, orchestrate, test, package, ship, iterate. The structure that takes you from concept to live URL inside a single week. Eval and debug strategies. Eval harnesses for multi-agent systems. Trace logging. The replay technique for reproducing failures after the fact. The tooling that lets you actually maintain what you shipped. Launch and iterate. Reading customer signal in launch week. The 30-day iteration cadence. The signals worth listening to versus the noise to ignore. The plugin URL from Module 6 becomes the artifact you iterate on in Module 7. Module 7 is where you stop being a builder and start being a product owner. See you in Module 7. Bring the URL.